And a welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Great Lakes Honda City coming to you on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. They're open for sales and service Monday through Saturday, and you can check them out all the time at greatlakeshondacity.com. And definitely happy to be here with you up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe here on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /Wake Up Call DT and on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com. Have an awesome show set up for you here today inside of monpauspopcorn.com. What's poppin'? Joining me first is Griff himself. Alan Griffin's going to be with us, Syracuse Orange men's basketball alum and current assistant coach, and someone I've known and built a relationship with for a very long time. And then Mike Wheeler will join us in hour number one, following Griff, following his 600th career win here in the community. We started in our conversations with Mike when he was at OCC leading the women's basketball program to a top 3 program in the nation in the NJCAA, and now he went off to Liverpool High School a few seasons ago and consistently leading them into sectionals and states. Then in hour number 2, the Bearcat Breakroom and our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Binghamton University. We will have Andrew Girolamo of the Binghamton men's lacrosse team ushering in the 2026 season, which starts today for them in Easton, PA at Lafayette. And we'll round out the show with the ingredients to success, proudly presented by Avicolli's. Today's topic, Heart of Fire. So with that being said, let's bring Griff in here picture in picture. Griff, how you doing?
What's good? What's going on?
Well, first and foremost, I want to just get the cat out of the bag over here. So your Giants, how you feeling? How's things going? You got John Harbaugh now, so where you at?
I'm very optimistic, to be honest. I think John Harbaugh obviously is a Hall of Fame coach, and I think he's gonna, give us order in New York and put us in the best situation to being successful and to winning. So I'm pretty happy with the hire.
Why did you not give me flowers this season when my Jaguars were a top 3 team?
Just because it was you. And knowing how much you like them, I had to give you some slack, and not some slack, but I had to give you a little bit on that front. But the Jaguars played well. Trevor Lawrence, he stepped it up, and you guys got a good team, and hopefully you guys can keep it together.
Nicest thing that Griff ever said. I'm going to put it as a hot key, and I'm going to play it all the time now.
All
So,
right.
Griff, let's get into this season. Obviously, it's been rough. It's been frustrating, and there was a positive start in the ACC, and things have gone in the other direction since then. You've been a player, and obviously you've been a coach for many, many years. How have you navigated the close but not quite there?
It's obviously it's frustrating. Even when you were in practice yesterday with our guys, and you could tell there's a lot of tension there, and they're frustrated too because obviously they want to get over the hump. And the one thing, the message that Coach gave to our guys was pretty inspirational in terms of keep fighting, like what I mean, like and eventually you just never know when this thing is gonna break, and if you could keep fighting, you'll give yourself a chance to maybe seeing it break. There's no guarantee that it's going you're gonna have a breakthrough, but like you just got to keep fighting. And the one thing we got some really tough guys, and that's what they're doing. They continue to fight. It's just about us just getting over the hump.
Well, and you talked about, visible frustration between them. I mean, you were a player before. So when you see that guys are, kind of maybe going at each other because they've had enough of not winning or things not going their way, how do you address it, and how do you work through that and kind of channel their energy in the right direction?
Well, by one, them seeing you not give up. I think that's the first thing, or you not being yourself, right? We gotta, and you just gotta keep it going, like it's a 10 game winning streak. Like how upbeat and excited and driven that you are with that. You gotta be that same way. And what the kids say now is like keep that same energy. And that's why I try to be myself. That's the only person I can be, and I try to be myself. I'm not a loud guy. I'm not a rah rah guy. I'm very to myself, like quiet. But when I say something, hopefully they kind of get the message. But just you just got to be yourself in the situation, but continue to fight.
Well, and like you said, I mean, you're not as always the vocal guy, the rah rah guy, and whatnot, but you're going to show them that you're not giving up. How do you, if you're not the most vocal, how do you show this team, hey, I'm here, I got you? Like, what do you do beyond that if that's not your thing?
They see you. You touch them. You ask them about the day. Like it's just not. Sometimes in these situations, you can't just place it on like basketball. These kids are still human beings. They still have lives outside of the court, and asking them about how their parents are, how their mom doing, who's coming to the game. And obviously you creating those relationships with them throughout the years or the year, given the times now. You continue to do that and ask that, and obviously they'll get to see that you care more than just on the basketball court.
Well, and I think there's something that, I mean, I know because I've known you for many, many years. I've known Adrian for a ton of years as well. Is that, I think it was a few games ago at home, it was after a loss. And obviously, you got to address the media, you got to do all this stuff. A lot of people are negative. And then I'm leaving, and you guys come out, and you and Adrian, you see me, and you light up, and I light up, and there's smiles, and it's like, hey, what's up, Dan, how you been, and this and that. And I think, like, to me, in those moments, it's like, win or lose, whatever you're going through, whatever he's going through, whatever the team goes through, when you're around people that you feel comfortable with, or like have your back or actually care, there's a difference to that. And I just remember going home thinking to myself, like, Griff and Adrian are still themselves, even if it doesn't go the right way on the court. And I feel like that might have been an easy thing for you to like bump my fist, tell me to have a good night. But it's kind of like what you're saying you're doing with your players.
Yeah, definitely. You again, like it's yeah, don't get me wrong, I'm competitive as all hell. Like, I want to win just as bad as anybody. I want this place to be as good as it's ever been. And that's what, that's burning up inside of me. But like again, like you just can't like overthink it neither. And I give off the energy that I want, right? That I want back to me. And that's why I think I'm able to say that I'm able to go out in this community and go have dinner with my family. I'm able to go out, pick up, food from places to go eat and not feel as, yes, again, I'm mad that we're not having the success that we're having, but I know that I give it my all, right? And I know that I give these kids my all, and that's what I can do. Like we can't look at it from the perspective of the wins and losses is that's what makes it, right? You got to look at it for the overall picture, and obviously one part of that is that we're not getting the wins, but you still got to work every day. You gotta come and fight every day. That's all I can do.
Well, and you say, listen, I know I'm giving my all. I know what I'm doing. There's so many voices, right? There's all of that outside noise. Do you hear any of it? Do you hear the frustration? Do you hear the boos in the dome? I mean, like you said, I go out and I get food. I know what I'm doing. Like, I'm out in the community, and I'm doing my thing. Do people stop you and say, hey, let's get it together? I mean, how has it been in the community? I mean, I had a guy, I talked about LeBron in a show, and I had a total stranger stop me and swear in my face that I didn't say something right about LeBron. So, I mean, do people talk to you or no?
Yeah, I mean, you can see it all on their faces. Some of them, are afraid to saying it to my face. You can see is like you can see some frustrating, from some frustrated people, but for the most part, some of the people that I've seen throughout the time in the community, who I've had conversation with to say, hey, tough game, or hey, we got to get this win. I get it. I get it all the time, and like that part of it, win or lose, excuse me, I'm there. Like that's just I'll answer that question 95 to 98% of the time. The frustrating part to me is, with 7 or 8 games left, and you just never know what can happen in the season. The stuff surrounding, like, you know our jobs and stuff like that. That's the part that really kind of gets me, ticked off, because it's just not it's not fair to, not, us as a coaching staff, but the kids, right? Like, these are the kids that you that you cheer for. These are the kids that, 10 years from now, when you see them back in the community, you say, "I remember I was at this game." These are you're letting them down so much more than us, like, as a staff, right? We understand as the business side of it as grown people, but, some of these kids, they don't understand that, and you know what? Some of them take it to heart, where they probably feel that is because of them. Like, it's just a lot that goes into it, that that's the frustrating part to me. Is like, the community already gave up on them, because they looking for, they try to figure out who's going to be the next coach. That's not being a true fan to the kids that they supposedly root for and care for. That's the only frustrating part to me. Listen, you can criticize the basketball side of it all you want. That's fine, right? That's life. That's part of the job, right? But that side of it is the frustrating part, because, again, it's not just, our staff. It's the kids, right? It's the kids that we want to be successful. It's the kids that we so want to be in the next Carmelo and Jerry McNamara's and stuff like that. So, and that's where you kind of, with some of the criticism, and some of the stuff, that the noise that you hear around here is not beneficial to them more so than us.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, I've talked about this on the show before. 99.9% of the people that talk about other people's jobs could not handle somebody talking about theirs, right? They wouldn't
Right,
want somebody coming in their cubicle being like, "I'm going to fire you," or "You're not a good
right.
CEO," or "You can't handle this." So, how do you handle that? How do you handle, like, all this season, last season? It's like, is this coaching staff going to stay? Are they going to keep their job? How do you handle a world which people don't really get is rare, because when it comes to coaches and players, there's all these opinions that want to fire or keep or this or that, which other people in other professions don't have to deal with. A teacher going to class today is not dealing with people saying, "When are you going to get fired?" So how do you deal
you,
with
you
that?
you got to block it out. You can't deal with it, because it's good. If you do deal with it, and then you feel it, like, it'll consume you every day, and then you can't be the best coach or the best mentor to some of the kids to the kids that you have on your team. So you have to figure out how to block it out. So, we block it out, and let me speak for myself, right? I block it out, but, eventually it comes to a point where, it'll creep in, and but you have to be strong minded and strong willed, that it just can't stop you from doing your job. I still have a job to do, right? And my biggest, and I think our job as coaches is to continue to help young people. It's continue to get young people better. It's in all facets, not just a basketball player. So that's what drives me. Like, so whatever anybody say or anybody can say outside of that, I don't care for, right? It's just all about me continue to do my job. My job is to, again, to continue to help coach and mentor, and be there for the kids that we have on our team. And the only people you know that I care for in that kind of situation is the kids and our coaching staff that's with me every day.
Well, and I want to ask you about a guy who, there's the uniqueness of this. Like, obviously, you and Adrian played here, and you're on the coaching staff. So there's a connection and a love and a deeperness to that brotherhood. But then there's a guy like JJ Starling, who didn't start here, then decided to transfer here, but he's from Beeville and he's in this community. You said some of these guys take it personally, and if they hear things about the coaches, they're like, "Hey, is this my fault? Is it on me?" JJ's so ingrained in this community. How have you seen him kind of handle all the turmoil and all this stuff? Because, I mean, people that actually get to know JJ, like, and criticize his shot and criticize this and that, like, this dude loves this place and this means a lot to him. So, I mean, how have you seen JJ navigate?
Yeah, he's just continue to believe. He comes to practice. He works out. every day, 2 times, an hour before practice. He continued to believe, and that's saying everything, right? So I can't say enough about JJ Starlin. He's a true believer in what we're trying to do, and I commend him for being as strong as he is and continue to keep going.
You have arguably more talent this season than we've seen at Syracuse in a bunch of years, but it doesn't seem to translate to wins and come through and whatnot. Can you put your finger on that? Like you said, we have a few games to go and anything can happen. When you look at the talent and the depth and just the pieces you have, is it living in the world of, hey, this is the transfer portal and it takes a long time to get everybody, like, what can you say about the talent but it's not translating?
No, I think it's a game by game situation. I think I can speak on like the Virginia game where if you turn the ball over and you don't rebound against Virginia, which is a top 20 team, you lose, right? And that's what happened, right? I don't look like the talent side of it, the all that, this, that, and the third, the NIL, this, that, and the third. I'm just saying it from a basketball situation. If you don't rebound versus Virginia and you turn the ball over against Virginia, you lose the game. And that's what happened, right? And that's what it is, right? You go to Carolina, you play at Carolina, again, you turn the ball over, right? And and you let them get out in transition. It'll be a long night for you. That's what happened. And for 34 minutes of the game, right? It's just one of those things where we just got to be better in certain cases, especially in game situations, and that's where everything starts to stop.
You talk about, you said I could speak for myself. You've spent so much time with Adrian and you've gotten to know him. And like I said, I've gotten to know him over the years as well, on and off the air. The message, you said what he said recently to the team in practice was inspirational. Sometimes if a team is losing or there's a lot of adversity, hearing a message over and over again, it kind of like goes away. How have you seen Adrian be a chameleon of a leader of sorts? Like, how has he been like, okay, we've tried this, I've said this, it's not working, let me adjust? Like, how have you seen him lead this season going through this adversity?
First and foremost, Adrian is a leader of men. I truly believe that he's done a great job, in doing that. Obviously, it's not equaling out to to win it, being 20-1 right now, right? It's not that. But uh, he's done a phenomenal job game planning, making sure our guys are put in the best situations as possible, and we have to take advantage of that. Uh, so I just commend him for just, and you know what? The one thing about him is he show fight every day, not just on the court when we're practicing. It's in our coaches' meetings. It's in our office. It's making sure just trying to live up to the orange standards daily, and that takes a lot. And it takes a lot because ain't nobody taking more bullets than him, but he comes every day with the same energy, with the same fight. And you know what? And as a leader of men, that says a lot and it speaks for itself.
Beyond the wins and losses, you said he's a leader of men. How have you seen Adrian improve the lives of his student athletes? How do you, like, where have you seen his impact?
It's making tough decisions at tough times, right? And sometimes it's not the most popular decision that's being made, but it's a decision that has to be made, and he got to live with it. And so like and that's just not just again with our guys. That's with our staff. And sometimes it's not a very popular decision, especially, with us. But, we trust him and we believe in him and we follow him. And I don't mean to be very, broad with my answer, but it's just a lot of things. I just can't handpick one thing. Is very broad, and it's because I've seen him be very caring, when he needs to be. I've seen him be very stern when he needs to be. So like it's just not just one situation that's gonna answer that question. It's a lot.
How have you two, like this season specifically, what do you feel like you've taken from each other, learned from each other? Like what this season has maybe stood out to you to say like, okay, like we if you don't learn lessons, if you're not busy learning, you're busy dying. So what have you learned from him, and is there something that you feel like maybe you did that you saw kind of rub off on him as well?
I can't answer that for him to talk about me, but I can answer for me to talk about him. I learned toughness, right?
Yeah.
It's a toughness to being where he is and to being able to uh, 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 just go out there and coach and just try to figure it out daily. It's a toughness level that he has that if I'm ever you know privileged to having my own team that I would carry with me, right? And it's something that I see daily, phone calls, conversations, everything. It's a toughness level there that is something that I think our guys see it as well, and that at some point in their lives. Because I know it's important in my life, like that, I'm gonna have to use this toughness, right? And it's something that I will never forget.
Well, and the thing is, like you said, you're not the most vocal, and you'll show in different ways. But I've seen you over the years. I mean, obviously, you care about this, you love this, it matters to you, it means something to you. You said you'll take toughness from Adrian. What have you seen out of yourself this season? Like when you look in the mirror in October, and now here we are in February, and you're looking in the mirror, what are you seeing out of Alan Griffin that has evolved over these last few months?
My love for helping young people, right? Especially when this era of basketball transpired to NIL and stuff like that is like I think it was much needed for the sport to a certain degree because obviously the compensation part um, was definitely needed given some of the financial situations of some of these young people that's coming into our sport and so forth so forth. Um, but just my love for it, has changed a little bit, especially at the beginning. Uh, of this era, it was hard for me. Not to say I was no. They all deserve the money. Whatever. It's not about the money. Whatever. It's just about uh, how certain kids or certain people would be feel entitled, right, or feel like when I came to Syracuse, it was a privilege for me to playing here and being here, right? It was a privilege, and I think to a certain degree, it's turned a little bit. But when you kind of going through it now and being in it right now where we are at this very day, it shows like I love this. I love being a part of it. I love being around the kids and I love everything about it. But it got a little bit discouraging at the beginning, for sure. But now, because you're gonna come upon kids that really love it for what it is and not for what they can get out of it.
Yeah. No, and I could appreciate that, and I hope that relationships are more important than transactions, as we always talk
Right.
about,
Right.
which is why you and I are here today. Before I let
Right.
you go, Alan Griffin, Syracuse Orange men's basketball assistant coach inside the 2025-26 season. Boeheim was in attendance for the honoring of Lawrence Moten. Have you taken any time to speak with your former head coach Jim Boeheim and kind of pick his brain and say, "Hey, how can I get better here? What can I do there?" A lot of people don't know Boeheim's actual personality, so
Right.
I don't know if you took a minute or two with him this year.
Yeah, I see Coach pretty much a lot. He comes to the office pretty much every day that he's in town. And when you see him, you're like, man, tough one. He said, yeah, you just got to figure out a way to win in some of these games, and then he puts everything in perspective. And he's like, hey, listen, like this is a tough part of your schedule, and you just got to kind of figure it out. You got to get some of these guys to playing better, right? And that's pretty much the message that he gave to me the last time we talked in terms of the team. But just having his presence around, it still gives you a vote of confidence that anything's possible, right? Because it was sometimes he would be coaching some teams that everybody would be think that they're dead in the water. Next thing you know, they're in the Final Four, right?
Yeah.
So like it kind of gives you that inspiration to just keep fighting and keep going.
As we have a few games left and then hopefully an ACC tournament opportunity as you step forward, what do you want to say to the fans? You know, and I know Syracuse has made a record, broken a record, made a new record, broken a record, 30,000, 32, 34, 35, and now maybe it's 6, maybe it's 9. People leave during the game, they've booed. There's been a different atmosphere with the fans. So with a few games left and, with a bunch of games at home left, what do you want to say to the Syracuse fan base?
I was gonna make a joke, but I said, you know what, I can't because it'll be taken so out of context. Right? But don't give up
Tell
on
me
the.
off the air. Tell me
Yeah,
off
yeah,
the
yeah,
air.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I was just joking. It's don't give up on the kids. I think what makes this place special and has always been special to me and always will continue to be special is how I was treated as a student athlete. And it was years where we won and went to the Sweet 16. There was years where we lost in the first round or the second round. To this day, as people in the community come up to me and say, "Hey, I remember I went to this game. My dad took me, and this, that, and the third, and it was the greatest time of my life, pretty much." And one, it was partly because they were spending time with their parents, but also to just being a part of Syracuse basketball and I'll never forget those times and people coming up to me and telling me stuff like that. So I'll just say that never continue to keep supporting the kids. Right, that's the main thing I hear. And they're coming to practice. They're working hard, and obviously it's not resulting to what we all want. But they have not quit on us in this university in this community. So this community should not give up on them. Period.
Has it did you ever have that when you went to school at Syracuse? Did you ever have moments where here's my fans, my home fans, and they're booing me? Like, how do you navigate through that?
I mean, you just gotta just continue to keep trying to play as hard as you can. Control what you can control. You can't control anything outside of yourself. So I mean, that's something like if you worry about that, then you're not going to be focusing on the task at hand. So you can't worry about that. And so that's where you just got to keep forward straight. I mean, keep looking straight forward and have your blinders on and try to do exactly what you need to do in order to help this team win. So you can't focus on that.
Griff, speaking of focus, free throws. This team has been the worst in the country of 365. They've been the second worst in the country. Do you get to a point in practice where you just kind of laugh and shake your head and be like, I don't know what we got to do? Like, I mean, what is happening in practice? Is Adrian saying, okay, you know what? Something's not connecting in games, so let's change this. Let's pump in some crowd noise. There's some coaches that I've seen that will go to a foul line and they'll taunt you. They'll talk in your face the whole time when you're shooting free throws. They
Yes.
try to make you as uncomfortable as possible. Like, what is happening in the free throw world? And I guess my question to you is, when in high school, when our teams missed, we had to run like crazy. So is there a running regimen for this?
Nah, Dan, I think going to make free throws is it's a concentration thing. I think if you can the start of the season we were bad, and if you look at the start of ACC, we actually were very good. We're pretty good. Excuse me. I'm just speaking off just off my memory here and not having the factual right in front of me, but to a certain degree, it's one of those things where you gotta just go out there and make them. Right? It's no trick to
Yeah.
shoot free throws. Yes, you got to go out there and shoot them in practice. You got to practice them. Yes, and they practice them and they practice them and they practice them. I'm just tired of everything and everybody, just saying, oh, you got to go up there and make them too when you got people, in the crowd, right? It's just one of those things. So, and we continue to work on them. So, like, it's just one of those things where, it just, unfortunately, we miss some. It happens. It happens in basketball all across the country.
Well, I think the hard thing is like, and from a broadcasting point of view, and somebody who played basketball growing up, like I, there's nothing you can say. It's just we got to make them, like you just said.
Yeah.
I mean, like you just have to make them. And
Right.
so, do you have? I mean, have you gotten involved in practice, and have you had a little knockout, a little free, little like, hey, let me light a fire under your butt. So Griff's going to come out to the floor, and we're going to see how we can handle this. Have you challenged any of your squad in a free throw shooting contest?
Nah, I can't. I mean, I wasn't that great of a free throw shooter myself, so
My-
so they're definitely not going to challenge somebody at something that I couldn't really master at, right? I say this all the time. It's like, you just got to go up there and I think coach said it best. It's like you go up there and just make the free throw. Just go up there and have a toughness level to yourself to go up there no matter what, on the road, at home, wherever it's at, having the toughness to going up there and just making the free throw.
yeah. Final note, and most important, arguably, next to the fact of you helping the kids, is Lawrence Moten getting honored. I had the opportunity to get to know him as I've had the opportunity to get to know you and Red over the years. The guy treated me like I was always important to him, and he made time, and he was always kind, always gave me a hug, gave me a minute. So when he passed away, and I had the opportunity to interview not only him but his daughters, when he passed away, that hit different to me, especially going back and watching that video with them and seeing them aspire to be, who they are today, and just some amazing things that happened over those 11 years. I I don't want to load this question. I mean, obviously I told you, I mean, to me he was good, but just Lawrence Moten for you, what he meant to you, and if you do what I do, if you sometimes look around the floor at the dome and think you're going to see him walk by.
Yeah, one, before I speak on Lawrence, you are a loaded question asker, so don't, that you're gonna do that. So I'm prepared for that, right? Right. So you don't have
Okay.
to warn
All
me
right.
on the loaded questions, all right?
All right.
I already know that's what you do, all
All
right? So don't worry about that. But Lawrence was a special dude. Yeah, I'll give you a story about Lawrence. Was I was recruiting Chris Bell, and
Okay.
it's pretty ironic. Cal is coming to play, and Chris is on that team. You talk about it, and I I was talking to Lawrence, and Lawrence actually, I'm bringing Chris over to the Mellow from the hotel, and Lawrence is calls me because he was like, hey, he always used to call me and say, hey, what time is practice? So forth, so forth. Or what time are you guys working out? So, and I would tell him, and he was like, oh, yo, I heard you got a recruiting on campus. I was like, yeah, kid, can really shoot, blah, blah, blah. And Chris could hear him. He would say, hey, what's up? How you doing? Blah, blah, blah. It was very impassioned, right? And I said, Lawrence is, the all-time leading scorer. And before I was able to finish that, he started running off how many points he scored in Big East play, right?
Yeah.
So, and it was like he said, young fella, if you see me, make sure you say, hey, I'm Mr. Whatever, how many points he scored. He said, you don't have to call me. So that was a funny story. And when I asked him about like his preparation to, this was after Chris now. I asked him what's his preparation to, playing and being a great player. And he said, Griff, whenever I was at practice, every time I put the ball in the hole, I would count that. So even if I was doing just regular layups, He said I would count that as points in my points I had that day. He said sometimes I would come out of practice scoring 50 points. And I was like, that's, I thought it was weird at the time, but now like when you thinking back at it, it's like a calculated thing that he did that always prepared him and put him in the mindset. And there's a reason why he was the all-time leading scorer and you know, at some point in the Big East. And I kept those two things with me with Lawrence. And again, like he embraced you, he embraced me too. Like I was the most important person on the planet when you seen him. So he's truly going to be missed. And obviously the Dome, you know, has something a little bit missing since his passing.
Yeah. And I'll let you answer freely, so don't be telling me I'm loading you up with questions. I'll let you
No,
be
no, no,
free.
no. You are a loaded question asker. It's okay.
Yeah. What does that even mean, though, Griff?
It means is this: you'll ask a question, but you'll have a part A, part B, and part C to the question. And sometimes before you finish the question, I forget what part A and part B was. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's not the definition of a loaded question. That means I have a multi-layered. Okay,
yeah,
that's what that means.
you know what? If you say so.
All right, Griff, you get to ask. You've answered all my questions. You've been candid as always, and I appreciate that. You get to ask me any question in the world. You get to put me on the hot seat for a second. We'll flip the script. What do you got?
You know what? That's a good one because you never prepare for that as a guy that coming back. So let me see. So what do you think about your Jaguars? What do you think? What's the record next year?
Man.
Playoffs?
So here's the thing. Trevor Lawrence had what, 4 coaches in 4 years, different coaching staff guys coming in. Offensive line couldn't stay healthy. That constantly changed. He had a shoulder injury, had an ankle injury, and people were asking me, "Are you done with him? Are you done with him?" And I'm like, none of these things have anything to do with his talent. So,
Right.
I mean, I believe that he can lead. I've seen it, and I covered him at Clemson. I like his leadership. I like being around him. I was around him in Jacksonville. And so, I mean, how do I feel about this upcoming season? The defense pleasantly surprised me because I didn't know if they had enough there. And, they got to take care of some other things. I think they need to shore up some depth, and they need to be smart. I love that LaQuint Allen made it on that team because he's a multifaceted guy that I really built a close connection with at Syracuse. So I would like to hope they can get to 11. I would like to hope, but again, I mean, that depends on what's going on and how's the team doing in injuries and all that. But they got unfinished business in the playoffs, and I'll tell you this, Griff, when Trevor Lawrence threw the ball and it hit whoever's shoulder and it bumped and it popped up in the air, I knew it was going to get intercepted, and I shut the game off with 57 seconds left. So I still don't know who won that Buffalo Jacksonville game. So, I mean, I know Buffalo showed up in Denver, but I don't know why because I never saw the end. So, if I didn't see it happen, did the tree fall in the forest? But yeah, I mean, I'm hopeful for this upcoming season. I don't do like they're definitely gonna because I feel like if I do, they won't. But I mean, they pleasantly surprise me, and I just want to see them win because there's a lot of really good guys, and they've lost a lot of really good guys that I wish could be there for a moment like that.
What? All right. That's a good answer.
So
You see how I didn't load it with what's the record, what the record gonna be, that's going on. I didn't do that a lot. I just asked a question and then let you answer it.
You got a different thought of what loaded means, though. That's the thing. Yours because I ask you a bunch of questions within the question. That's what you're hitting me with. So,
gotcha.
With that being said, Alan Griffin, as always, candid, open, honest. I appreciate it. It comes from a long-time relationship. So, I appreciate you on and off the court. I value you. And more than anything else, please tell your family I said hello and send love that way. And I'll see you soon.
All right, Dan. Appreciate you.
All right, man. Take care. That coming from Alan Griffin one more time here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. I always appreciate Griff and having time with him. And we've had the opportunity to talk a lot. He told me I ask it A, B, and C to my questions, so he doesn't remember A and B. All right, Griff. Well, we'll work on it. But always appreciate having Griff on the show, and I do. I value the fact that we've had the opportunity to talk about a lot of different things. And we spoke about a lot there. I mean, you heard him speak very openly about what's going on. And, I value that. And now, speaking of having these relationships and open conversation and having the opportunity to talk with somebody freely and have them be so candid, that is the essence of Mr. Mike Wheeler, who is going to be joining us here in a second on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life, as we prepare to bring him in here. And we're going to go ahead and bring in Wheels here on the broadcast. So Mike Wheeler, if you don't know, let me just educate y'all a little bit. And I'm going to do it with him on the screen so I can watch his facial expression. Mike Wheeler is a guy that I met like 115 years ago. He's one of the coaches I've known the longest. And when I came back to Syracuse after being down in the Orlando area and building a relationship with Florida that I have to this day, which I greatly appreciate, Mike and I talked when he was at OCC. When he was in that realm of, is this going to be the top team in the country, top 3 team in the country, constantly going to the NJCAA tournament, winning the majority of their games, blowing out teams. He was somebody that I was drawn to because I was like, hey, he's a good guy. He treats me well. He works his tail off. He's consistent. His players win, and I feel like he should have a spotlight, and his program should, and his student athletes. Then he tells me, I'm retiring. I laughed, and I said, I'll see you in 12 minutes. Less than a year later, as I drove by Avicolli's, ironically, he called me up and said, guess what? I think I'm going to coach JV at Liverpool. And I said, yeah, I know, Mike, because you're not going to not coach. And then after that, within 5 seconds, he's like, I'm going to be the varsity coach. Just want to give you a heads up. I was with him, I think, with wins 300, 400, 500, and now he's hit the 600 career win mark. He is one of the people that has always been in my corner, been kind, answers me right away. If I shoot him a text, I see the bubble, and he always makes time for me. So I don't think an intro can adequately state that for over a decade, he has been one of the most consistent, kind, real, compassionate, not a yes man, but like a genuine human being in my life. And he has always made sure to keep me in the loop. So with that being said, it is my honor and privilege to know Wheels, and he's one of the guys that I got a lot of respect for. Mike Wheeler, how we doing?
Danny, thanks for having me, and that was quite the introduction. I liked everything except 115 years. That kind of makes me old and you even older. So, but I appreciate that, and thank you for having me.
Of course. No, it's my pleasure. And, I love the fact that it's funny, when you send me the picture of with the team, the 600, I go back to other moments. And my mind went right back to 400. And it's crazy to like be able to celebrate that with somebody that you respect and you appreciate, and then to continue to do this. But I guess I'm not surprised, and I've become used to it. I know you're humble. I know you're not going to sit here and talk about yourself, but I'm just used to another number being in front of the 2 zeros. So bring me into number 600, bring me into the night, and paint the picture for everybody.
Well, it really, I didn't think we planned on it happening the way it did. We were, we struggled as a basketball team early this season, and didn't know, how things were going to go. But I'll tell you what, I think the biggest thing I'm going to talk about my team for a minute. They have played the best basketball that we've played in a long time, winning 6 out of our last 8 and putting ourselves in position to host a home sectional game. And I think for us, take away the 600 wins. Yeah. My team went out on Thursday night and beat a Nottingham team on the road that was in first place in their league. That had been beating several good basketball teams. And we went in Thursday night with a great plan, and and got a big W on Thursday night. And I think that's the one that stands out more than the 600 win. I'm more about what a big win it was for our program Thursday night. And I'm of course very appreciative that I received my 600 win.
Well, like you said, it's not the number of wins you had in that moment. It was what you were doing, who you were beating, and what your team was showing you. How has this team got it together? What can you put your finger on that you feel like has led you to that point of we're trying to figure out who we are, and here we are, taking down a team in Nottingham that has had a lot of success. How did you get there?
Well, I think we got back from Florida, had a rough go around down there. We were 2-5 coming back from Florida, um, and I really think we took the break to kind of re-energize things, talk about things as a group about what we can do to be a better basketball team, and not so much look at several things to be better, but maybe just pick one really good thing that we can really focus on and make that our identity for the second half of the season. And I think defensively is where we've been outstanding. We're athletic, we're quick, and we just focused on that the last couple of weeks. And I think having the guard play that we've gotten from Gracie Salif, Lyric Noel, and some of our other guards, more Woods, Carabrudi, and just all around senior leadership, Angelina Kohler, just this kids coming in and just really getting after it. They always talk about locking in defensively, and that's what they really believe they need to do to make a run like they have. And that's what's won 6 out of our last 8 for us.
Well, and you talk about something that some teams don't like, right? I mean, because there's players that just want to score. They want to look good. They want to be on that highlight. And defense doesn't always look pretty, but you said my team, that's what they wanted to do. They wanted to play defense. Where did that come from? Where did somebody start that? Is there a leader on the floor that was like, hey, we need to shift here? And you kind of just let them lead each other? I mean, how did this team kind of hone in and say, if we want to win these games, it doesn't matter how many points we score, like we have to lock in. Like, how did that lock in happen?
I think for the kids to be able to lock in, I think the coaches need to lock in and bring energy. And I've always been a high intense guy. I bring the energy, I try to bring the energy every day, especially the sideline. I'm intense. I wear everything on my sleeve. And I want my kids to wear everything on their sleeves too. Play with passion, play with energy, play with heart. I think that's really something that's important. And if you're going to be able to lock in defensively, you have to play with that. And I try and give them that every day. Play with that type of energy. I don't think coaching staffs or anything that's going to just sit on the if you're sitting on the chair on the sideline, just kind of giving directions, I think it's difficult for your kids to get after it, and, if you bring energy from the sideline, you bring energy in practice, the coaches bring energy every day, your kids are going to respond. And I think really that's what the main focus has been for us as a staff, and what we've wanted to implement in the second half of the year. And these kids have bought in.
Yeah, like you said, you have to bring that energy. You can't just kind of sit there and you wear your emotions on your sleeve. In practice, do you have a coach or a janitor or someone simulate being an official so that you can truly be Mike Wheeler?
I'm caught up blowing the whistle sometimes when we're going up and down. So, for me, I'm the one usually that's the players respond by complaining about my calls, and then I'm like, now I know how they, how the officials feel when I'm complaining about calls. So they're more worried about that's a travel, that's a foul, So I'm trying to incorporate everything like that. But usually my assistant coaches are doing a a good job of getting after it. I've a great staff. Scott Eustace, Holly Sleeth, um, and Kyle Crescenti is my JV coach, and we try and really, they're I'm focusing on some of the X's and O's and kind of getting after them with that, and then they're getting after them on the other side, defensively, lock in, stuff like that, the energy level.
Yeah, and I joke, but then also in seriousness, I mean, you show that. Some coaches just kind of it's not there, and well, it might be there, but it's there silently. You have coached for such a long time, and you know who you are, right? So what can you say from maybe the beginning of your career to now? Did you take out? Did you bring in? Because like you said, I wear it on my sleeve. My emotions are here. So who was Mike Wheeler in the beginning? What stayed and what went?
Well, in the beginning, gosh, I started coaching modified and freshman girls basketball when I was like in my early 20s, right out of college. And then I got the opportunity to coach, be the assistant coach at Christian Brothers Academy. And I coached under my aunt for 2 or 3 years. And being able to kind of observe and watch and take things in. And I always took things in from my coaches in high school. What did my high school coaches, do to push me or teach me, or what did they do offensively, defensively? What are some of the things they ran? I always took that stuff and brought it to me. Same thing when I started coaching with my aunt, the philosophy. And I was always a up tempo, fast, transition oriented, high energy coach. I wanted that. And that's one thing when I started coaching is I brought into my program and my philosophy in my mid 20s. And that's just what I implemented here. And I think making the game of basketball fun for the kids is really important. I think you're going to get more out of them if you make the game fun. And, the monotony of slow down and let's run a half court set and let's use the 30-second shot clock. It's like some coaches like that. That's their style. But, for my style and my philosophy, I wanted my kids to always be able to just play fast and have fun while they're doing it. And I think that's really a big part of what I brought to the table and what I learned. And, through the years, at first, you're kind of caution. I had a lot of caution in the way I coached my first couple of years. And then I got comfortable. And, and it when you get, like I said earlier, when you get the kids to buy into what you're doing, it makes things a lot easier. And that's, kind of truly what I've taken all the way from day one as when I started coaching.
Yeah, and you said you started your career coaching under your aunt at CBA. Bring me into that experience that is unique and that a lot of people don't get to do, which is coach with family. What you kind of took from that's always going to last with you, because it seems like that's got to be a core memory.
Yeah, I remember I was, in my junior year of college, and lost you, sorry. Junior year of college, and I got a phone call in like middle of January, and she was, coaching the junior varsity team at CBA at the time, and she asked, "Hey, we need a freshman girls coach like yesterday. What are the chances of you, wanting to do something like that?" I'm like, you know, really haven't done much coaching. I'm in my early 20s in college, um, but something I always wanted to do was get into coaching. So I said, it'll be tough on me for a little bit, but I think I can, make my schedule work. So I accepted the job as a freshman girls coach. Was fortunate enough to really have a decent a basketball team, a lot of decent players. We ended up going 16-0 my first year as a freshman coach. And I was like, wow, this was fun, uh, so, it was great to be blessed with great basketball players, and to be able to coach them, and I think that's really starting so young is kind of where my energy kicked in right from the beginning. Having that firepower, getting after it. So it kind of just grew with me, and then from there, I jumped right up to. My aunt became the varsity coach, so I became the assistant varsity coach. And I did that for 2 years. And then when I was 20, I think I had just turned 25 or 26, and I accepted the job as a women's basketball coach at OCC. So what I enjoyed is the fact that I got an opportunity. I remember being offered the job at OCC, and the year, I think the prior 2 years ago, they didn't have a program, or the last year they had a program at OCC in the early 90s or mid 90s. They were 0-28. And I was like, do I really want to take this over right now? Because if I go 0-28, I'm going to jump off a cliff. Because that's how competitive I am.
Yeah.
I can't. So, after having a lot of discussion, after the job was offered to me, I remember Bob McKinney was the athletic director up here, who was another big part of, my career, and, gave me the opportunity to coach up here. He called me on a Friday, offered me the position, and he said, take the weekend to think about it, talk to your family, what you got to do. And so, I had a long talk with my aunt at the time, and she's like, you would be stupid if you don't take the position, to get an opportunity to coach college basketball at your age with, very little experience. You'd be stupid not to take the job. And I said, well, I can't go 1-28. She goes, think of it this way. You go 1-27, you did better than the guy before you. I'm like, 1-27 isn't going to do it for me either. I'm like, I can't do that. And they're like, well, she said, give yourself 3 years. Give yourself a couple of years to get the program together. So, I used a lot of my high school connections at the time, because I was assistant coach at CBA, and I gathered up 8 or 9 girls, a couple girls that were part of the team prior. And we went 15-14 in my first year. So I was really pleased with that. And then second year we went 18-12, and then we went 21-10. So I think after the third year up here, I don't think we won less than 20 games a year. We were always between 25 and 30. Made some big runs and deep into the playoffs. And again, that's a lot to do with the support I had, and people backing me up and believing in me. I think that was the thing. We always use this thing. We always use this saying before we go out, before we go out on the floor: believe in yourself, believe in your teammates, believe in it together. So I always say, I had people to start that for me. They believed in me to give me this opportunity. And that's pretty much how everything started. And, I'm really grateful for that, opportunity. And this kind of leads me to where I am, today.
Mike Wheeler here with us, Liverpool girls basketball head coach, giving us a run through the history of getting here today to 600 career wins and counting. Bob McKinney did it, like you said, when you're talking to your aunt, 25, 26 years old, didn't have a ton of experience, and here you are, you have the opportunity to coach college. Did he say to you why? Like, what he saw in you? Did he say, like, hey, this is it? This is what I take. Oh, I think we lost Mike here for a second. We got him on. He's frozen here for a moment. Let's see if we can unfreeze Mr. Wheeler. Yeah, we're going to unfreeze him here in a sec. So,
Are you back?
Yeah, I'm here. So just what, did Bob McKinney tell you what he saw in you, why he hired you?
I think he saw the energetic, the lots of energy, like the guy that's going to go out and recruit, the guy that's going to go spend time in gyms and start a program from the ground up. And I think that was the real. I think the one big thing that stood out for me was the fact that I had all kinds of energy and I wanted to win. I wanted to start the program. And that was something I think he saw in me. He's like, here we got a young 25, 26-year-old head coach. And I think he believed in me. He said, this is something we're going to go with. We're going to take a chance with him because I think he's going to do good things. And, the fact that he believed in me and, went a long way. And, I didn't want to disappoint anybody. They never had a women's basketball program up here at OCC. For many years, I think it was the early mid 80s where they might have had their last basketball program, but they never really had anything. So like I started, I wanted to start something from the ground up, and that was my goal. And when I take something on, and with Bob giving me that opportunity and OCC giving me the opportunity, I wasn't going to let him down. I was going to make sure I did my very best that I could possibly do.
And you talk about doing your best in the time that you've been at Liverpool. It's a run through sectionals into states, fighting for a state title. I mean, I know you talk about your student athletes, you talk about your coaches, and I appreciate that tremendously. I also look at the fact that at OCC you're recruiting, at Liverpool you're not. So, I mean, you're building through and deciding who's going to come up from JV and who you see and whatnot. But there's something to be said about you win wherever you go and you turn programs into something. Liverpool saw Mike Wheeler. Liverpool wins sectionals. Liverpool goes for state titles. I mean, how have you created this over time to be the coach that recruited to the coach that can't recruit because it's high school and it's a public school, and you found a way to put yourself deep in the playoffs when you were recruiting, and you found yourself to be deep in the playoffs when you're building through a public school system?
No, I think I owe a lot of it to, athletic director Ari Lieberman giving me the opportunity to coach, doing what I love, the Liverpool community. That was a big, and they accepted me with open arms, and I took a year off from coaching, really wasn't sure what I was going to do. And according to you, you knew I was going to be coaching 15 minutes later, which you were close. But, to have that opportunity at Liverpool, I'm grateful that they've given me this opportunity. But, and I did the same thing. I implement, my philosophy, my system at the high school level, and if you have athletes that can play basketball and they don't have to be the best basketball player, but I think with the way my system works, it fits. And that's just really what I did. And I think, again, just like here at the college level, you're recruiting kids that want to fit your system, because so when you're going out recruiting, this player will fit my system. At the high school level, a little different. You have to have the athletes. But I'm not going to change anything. I'm going to keep my system the same as it was. And, from the first time I stepped on the floor, they bought into my system, high energy, transition, push the basketball, trapping all over the floor defensively. And, they just bought in. So, that's been part of the success, that, winning sectional titles and getting to a state championship game, complete Final Fours. That's got a lot to do with them, taking what I put in and doing it, because there's teams that a lot of coaches put stuff in and teams don't do it, and but I think a lot of that comes from, how you implement it, and I'm, like I said, I'm a high energy guy. I want my team, I want my players to have success, and you got to believe that they're gonna do that, and they have. And I think the biggest team is this year is we're not as talented this year, but I'll tell you what, our kids just go out and they battle, they get after it, and they're still using the same system that I have put in 4 years ago, and they're doing a great job with it.
right before
So
we
that's
get,
pretty much.
yeah. Now I was going to say right
Yeah,
before. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
no, that's just pretty much how the success has been at the high school level.
Right before we get to rapid fire here with Wheels, why do you think your system? I mean, it's translated for over a decade. It's worked in college. It's worked at the high school level. It's like I said, it's worked when you're recruiting players. It's worked when you have to have the players in that district and whatnot that are in the school system. Why do you think your system continues to work, no matter the age or the situation?
Um, I guess it's a. I guess you have to, as a coach, you have to have your kids. You got to make them buy in, and you got to, I think the kids in our Liverpool program, since they've been younger, have coming up through JV, modified JV, and they've seen the success of the program in the last couple of years, and they see what we do. So I think they want to follow in the footsteps. We won when Liverpool won their first sectional title in 16 years. My first year, I told the kids in the locker room at the end of the season when we lost in the Final Four. I said, be a program changer. Be a program changer for these younger kids, and they did that. They showed the younger kids what it takes to get to a Final Four, to win a sectional title. So that helps a lot, especially from your seniors and your older group that's playing for you, that they're showing the younger kids what it takes to win a sectional title.
That coming from Mike Wheeler. Mike, you get to put me on the hot seat. I will not put you on it because you answered all my questions here, and we got to talk about your journey. You can ask me 2 questions. We'll have more to come, hopefully, at Avicolli soon. What is your first question?
Well, my first question to you is, analyzing sports the way you do and so on and so forth. I'm probably going to throw a couple questions like that. What is your overall view of Syracuse basketball right now? What do you think?
The men's basketball team?
Men's basketball team. What's your thoughts?
I think that missing free throws, and I'm going to say this from my point of view, I shot in the sun. I shot when it was sleeting, snowing, ice, rain. And if I shot 100 free throws and I missed 10, I was angry. I was angry because I'm like you. I'm quietly competitive. Like people may not know in instances where I'm being very competitive, but if I go in a gym and I miss a free throw, no one has to be there to see it or not see it. I get pissed. And so I would say there's things that are not happening that I just find to be strange. And I know, Alan Griffin was on before and he talked about it. It's a mental thing. It's a focus thing, but you're a Division I athlete. You should be able to focus. You're missing a ton of free throws at home where no one's booing you. And so, I think the fundamental stuff really gets me because this team, and it's not this year, it's multiple years. They don't box out. They don't cover the baseline. They don't set screens. They don't call out plays. They don't offensive rebound. They don't help each other. There is a lot of confusion as to who's supposed to be where. They don't run to spots when they're in zones. They don't form fences. Like, all of these things I was taught as a kid, I don't see. And I don't think Syracuse is losing because they don't have talent. They're losing because they're not doing the simple things that become the big things like free throw shooting, and they're not doing the fundamental things that build champions. Like, Butler bored people back in the day with Brad Stevens, but they did the fundamental things. So boring to me was great. Virginia under Tony Bennett bored people, lulled them to sleep, but it worked because the boring part was the fundamentals. And I don't know what to say about a team that's more talented than Syracuse has probably been in many years, that has more depth than they've had in many years, that just doesn't doesn't do the fundamental things that my coach used to make me run if I didn't do. And I'm just I'm offended that Division I basketball that caliber and that height is not doing the basic things that help you win games. And if you go back and look at Syracuse playing a Houston team that's been good for many years under Kelvin Sampson, and I've covered them, and I've talked to him, and I've talked to the student athletes there, like, they should have beaten Houston. They didn't beat Houston because they can't make free throws. You know, they don't beat other teams because they don't rebound. They turn the ball over like crazy. I mean, this is stuff that drives me nuts as someone who played and somebody who studies the game and has loved it my whole life. I think you would be going insane if you were on the sideline there because of fundamentals. So, I mean, my assessment of it is just, if you can't do the things that make the game, how are you going to win?
Agreed. I think the other thing is playing for each other too. You got to play for each other. Yeah. You know, that goes a long way, especially, you know, and when you're getting dire straits and you're struggling as a basketball team, you got to play for each other. And sometimes that stuff sometimes you can't teach that, but sometimes, you know, that players have to kind of look themselves in the eye a little bit and play for each other. I think that's really important. Second question, what would be your philosophy as a coach if you were a head coach of a basketball team? What would be your philosophy?
Well, and I think, to go back to the first one for a second, I think they did play for each other at the beginning of the season, and I think they've stopped, because I actually liked what I saw in the beginning of the season, and it was totally different than what I saw for the last couple of years, which gave me hope. So if I was a head coach, what would be my philosophy? It's funny that you asked this, because I get this itch of coaching basketball because I'm in love with it, and I just desire, I don't know, it's just with me all the time, and I go over to Game Point Sports, and I've been shooting a lot more lately, and you got to watch my video with Brandon Trish, Mike. There's a few moments in there, but I think if I was a head coach, I would want to frustrate the hell out of teams that play me. I would want to full court press you. I would want my team to have the stamina and the endurance and the drive and the focus to do it the whole game. Not that I would ask them to do it the whole game, but Rick Pitino full court press was just like, it was like abusive. It was a beehive. It was relentless, and it was frustrating as all hell. And so I would want my team to be a trap, full court press. Like, I'm going to make you so mad 2 minutes into playing my team that I'm going to make you get a technical. Like, I'm going to make you frustrated that you can't get over the line. So I would say my defense was going to be relentless, or would be relentless, frustrating, full court press, and we would trap the hell out of you. And then I would say offensively, if we're in transition and we got the ball and we're going, you better get down the floor. And I probably do some time things in practice to be like, how many seconds is it going to take you to get from here to the basket? So I would definitely want them to be a transition team, but then I would also like to systematically make sure that if we're not in transition and we didn't steal the ball and we're coming down the floor, I would want to kind of work, when you talk about team building and playing for each other, I kind of have in my mind, like, how many passes do we want to make? What are the looks that we want to have? And I would think back to Tony Bennett in Virginia and how he broke a press where he played hot potato. And it was like he passed the ball so many times so quickly and everybody touched it that they broke Syracuse's press by the fact that they were faster than Syracuse's defense could respond. So I would say even in my half-court offense, we would be passing so fast that we may be systematically breaking you down, but we're still moving quickly. So I would say there would be a quickness to different things.
Great.
Yeah. So those are my thoughts, Wheels. You've been a coach for a million years and you've won a ton of games. Assess what I just told you. Do you like it, dislike it? Do you want me to take notes and change it? What are your thoughts?
No, I thought that was spot on. That was very good. You know, your philosophy is similar to mine, you know, and, you know, I like that a lot. That's my style of play. No, everything was spot on.
So with that being said, Mike Wheeler, Thank you. Coming from you, I'll take that stamp of approval this morning. Wheels here, 600 and counting. Make sure you go and support Liverpool coming up, and I can't even believe we're already heading toward the postseason, which is insane because I feel like the season just started. But maybe that's because the snow just won't melt. Mike Wheeler, Liverpool girls basketball. As always, Wheels, thank you for your time, and I look forward to seeing you and the girls soon.
Danny, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Of course, I'll talk with you soon.
See.
That coming from Mike Wheeler here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, Liverpool girls basketball head coach, OCC women's basketball former head coach of many, many years. And as he told you before, he started his career coaching under his aunt and was over at Christian Brothers Academy, my alma mater. I didn't even know that. I did not know that part of the story. So knowing Mike as many years as we've known each other, to find out something new today and to have it be like that unique, and I think like I said, a core memory, like something that probably had a big impact, is really cool. So we'll take a step aside for a fast break. We're almost an hour and a half into the show and we haven't taken a break because I believe in content and I believe in giving you as much as we possibly can, and I only work with businesses that give you as much as they can. So shout out to the wonderful partners we have in Central and Upstate New York. You're about to hear from them, and when we come back, thank you for your patience. Andrew Girolamo will be with us from Binghamton University in our Bearcat Breakroom special in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Binghamton University right after this inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and always online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, order anywhere, anytime at maandpaspopcorn.com. Stop in to get a tin at Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York to get your half-price refills for the rest of your life. Come to Ma and Pa's for your holiday gift giving for family, friends, employees, and clients. And remember, for fundraising and events, to call 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have at any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Great Lakes Honda City coming to you on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York for sales and service. Go to them Monday through Saturday And, of course, you can go online anytime to GreatLakesHondaCity.com. As you know, here on Wake Up Call, we are here in our second year, about to go into our third year of our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Binghamton University. And the men's lacrosse team have been no strangers to the broadcast, including their head coach. I'm here in this edition of the Bearcat Breakroom in that partnership with Binghamton University, featuring Andrew Girolamo here with us of the Binghamton men's lacrosse team going into this 2026 season. And here today on Tuesday, February 10th, guess what? We're officially going into the 2026 season. This is game day, and this is the first game of the season. So, Andrew, I'm honored and privileged to be ushering in the season on the first day of this 2026 season. So how are you?
Good. How are you? Yes, very excited to be on here.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you. I know we talked about it off the air that Lafayette, not too far away, Easton, PA, so not too far of a drive. What are your thoughts on starting off the season on the road, knowing that in upstate New York, there has been plenty of snow, plenty of cold, plenty of negative degree weather. So your thoughts about being out on the field as we're still waiting for essentially us all to thaw out here in the winter.
Yeah, it's been pretty crazy up here with all the cold and stuff. We've been getting through it though. We've been going to some indoor facilities and whatnot. But yeah, going on the road tonight, it's gonna be pretty cool. They've got us the past couple of years, but we'll see what happens tonight, and hopefully get the job done.
Yeah, and like you said, they've gotten you a few times, so that doesn't go away. Do you circle? Like, I mean, obviously the schedule is the schedule, but when a team comes up and you see their name or you see that logo, if they got you last time, is there something that's kind of in your head, whether you say it or not, like, okay, obviously we want to win every game, but I remember last year, so I'm going to go ahead and make a little mental note?
Oh yeah, there's definitely a couple mental notes in my mind right now for this game. These guys have gotten us. They're very chippy, so we're definitely going to come out hard and try to get these guys.
Yeah, and you look at starting this season on the road at Lafayette tonight, here on Tuesday, February 10th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. It'll be on ESPN+. And then you're at home. We get to see you at home on Valentine's Day on February 14th, this Saturday at noon Eastern Time. The fact that you can bounce back and come home right away, and not just come home right away, but what I love about this season, and as you know, a lacrosse season, you'll have one that's mostly on the road, and you'll be like, okay, it's tough to navigate through that we got a bunch of road games, but then the following season, you'll get to have more home than road to balance it out from year to year. And so after you start at Lafayette tonight, you'll be back home on Valentine's Day against St. Bonnie's. Then you go to Siena, which isn't too far away in Loudonville, New York by Albany. And then you're home for 4 straight matches, which means that you got four at home in a row, but then you have 5 of 6 to start off the season after going to Lafayette. Just what that means to you, that you have, kind of been road warriors last year, and now you have the opportunity to spend a lot of time at home in front of your fans.
Yeah, it definitely means so much. We last year we spent a lot of time in like the hotel and whatnot, and now we're here, in our own spots at home. And but yeah, definitely super excited to get in front of the fans a lot this year, and hopefully they bring it, and hopefully we bring it too.
Yeah, I mean, looking at it from February 14th to March 14th, literally a calendar month, you only have one road game, which is February 17th. Was that something that you kind of took an early look at? And I mean, because like I said, if last season's on the road, then you're going to be at home more. But did you take a little peek at this and say to yourself, like, we're basically spending a month at home?
Oh yeah, for sure. Me and all my teammates have been talking about it, but it's cool to be on the road with the guys. You get closer and whatnot, but the all the bus rides could definitely get to you here and there. And this year, it's definitely cool to be at home a lot.
Yeah, and we know that first game, like we talked about, being on the road before you come home and face St. Bonnie's. When you do go on the road, like we talked about, Easton, PA, and then, Newark, New Jersey, Newark, Delaware, Albany, Loudonville, you're not going too far. The farthest you go is Burlington, Vermont this season. So having some of those matchups that are out of conference but still within the state of New York are close, just what those mean to you, and if you feel like there's been any rivalries created with a Siena or a St. Bonnie's or anybody in the state of New York.
Oh yeah, for sure. We've definitely, it's actually pretty funny. Since I've been in school here at college, us versus St. Bonnie's has been such a tight game, and like we always have some really cool battles with them. So that's definitely a little rivalry we have with them, and then obviously Siena, we always go at it with them, and then, but yeah, it's pretty cool to create little rivalries like that in college. But yeah.
When you have a rivalry like St. Bonnie's that's happening so early on in the season, good or bad in your opinion that you're going almost directly into a rivalry?
Oh, I think it's pretty good. You go into a rivalry like that, and you're going into a close game like that. It definitely gets you ready for conference play later in the season against the Albanese, the Vermonts, and stuff like that.
Yeah, and like you said, there's some history with Lafayette as well. You said there's a few things that stick on your mind going into the game tonight. What are some of those things?
Um, definitely watching out for their physical play. They are a very slide heavy team. They really like to throw the body around. And we have a couple young guys on the team this year, and that are gonna get some play time. So really just keeping them in the zone, and really just being under their wing and making sure their mind is there.
And you talked about some young guys here in the 2026 season that are going to have the opportunity to make their hay. What can you say about those young faces on the squad? What should we know about them?
Definitely who I'll be starting with down at attack is we got a freshman and a sophomore down there, and I've been really teaching them through this thing, and getting them under my wing, like I said, and getting them up to the physical aspect of the game, and up to speed and stuff like that, and they're really doing well. We also have a midfielder that's going to be out there on the first line, I think. And he's working hard in practice. They're doing good in the weight room, and it looks like we'll have some good young guys out there that'll be doing pretty well.
Yeah, the mixture of having returning players like yourself and some young guys. Your head coach, Kevin McEwen, how have you seen him bond the old and the new and to turn it into something that you think is going to be pretty positive this year?
Oh yeah, he since I was a freshman here, he definitely has taught me so many different things. We've had some coaching changes here and there, which has been pretty tough. But Coach McEwen has definitely brought me in under his wing, and has taught me so many things about what I could do better, what I like could teach other people. And then with these new guys coming in, he really has taught me how to be more of a leader. Speaking up to those guys, and not really like yelling at them, but like teaching them what they could and can't do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you said essentially that Coach McEwen has maybe helped you find your voice a little bit. When you came in as a freshman, with this being your junior season at Binghamton, did you feel you were more quiet in high school, more quiet stepping into college, and he got you to bring that voice forward? I mean, how would you describe kind of who you were in the recruitment process to who you are right now?
Yeah, I definitely think my senior year in high school, I was definitely more of a quiet leader, more of a show what I could do on the field. But college is totally different. You really have to like break things down with these younger guys, and really like with like even like when it comes to like classes and stuff, you really gotta like just like teach them throughout the campus and stuff like that. So it's definitely more of a be more vocal than I was in high school.
Was that something you were comfortable with, or did you have to get comfortable?
I definitely had to get comfortable with that. Speaking like when it comes down to like speaking in front of the team and stuff like that, you really got to get comfortable with that kind of stuff. But I've definitely been better at that. So it's definitely Coach McEwen has definitely taught me that kind of stuff.
Here with Andrew Girolamo here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of this edition of the Bearcat Breakroom in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Binghamton University inside of the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Andrew, to go back to the beginning, we talked about when you first came into Binghamton, you were more quiet, you had to learn to find your voice. But now I want to go all the way back to that first moment for you with lacrosse. Who brought lacrosse into your life?
I do have a little story about this. Pretty funny. I was getting picked up in pre-K. My dad was like, "All right, we're gonna go to some gym," and I was like, "What are you talking about?" And he was like, "Just get in the car." And it was when we went to this little indoor gym, and he gave me like one of those little fiddlesticks that you start out with, and I've loved it from there. So yeah, I'd say my dad.
So you remember that from pre-K? Like that's vivid. That's you're a few years. You're like maybe 5 years old, 5, 6 years
Yeah.
old. I mean, you went right back to it immediately. So that's so vivid. Do you find that your memories of lacrosse are more vivid than what you had for lunch?
Oh yeah, totally. Yes, definitely.
Favorite memory, if you were to just dial one up right now of your time playing, favorite lacrosse memory?
Um, I'm gonna have to go with my junior year. I think it was my junior year of high school. We were I went to a private school, so we had this rivalry against Iona Prep, and we always kind of lost to them, but like this time we were feeling good. We had a really good squad, and we went to their place actually, and I was feeling myself pretty good honestly, and I had 5 goals and we won 6-5, and that's probably one of my favorite memories.
And like you said, you had 5 goals and you won 6-5. Who had the other goal?
Uh, this kid CJ Sanchez, yeah, he's a year older than me.
Okay. Did you ever have a game with more goals than that game?
Yeah, a couple.
Okay. What were those?
Um, we were playing Ridgefield out of Connecticut in high school, and I had 6, I believe. Um, let's see here. I think that might have been it actually throughout high school,
Okay.
but a bunch, definitely a bunch of 5 goals though.
Always a midi? Was that the dream, the aspiration, the one that you liked, the position wise, or were you in a different place at some point in your
No,
career?
I'm actually an attackman. I've played
Okay.
attack my whole life.
Okay. Because
It's
yeah,
just
they got you as midi on here, so that's
yeah,
why
yeah.
I asked.
Freshman and sophomore year here at school, they we had some good guys down at attack, so I was kind of moving throughout attack and midfield. So, but this year I was starting down at lefty attack.
So like you said, the first couple of years at Binghamton, you're flowing through midi and attack. You're playing in a place that you've played most of your life, like you said, at attack, but then you're being asked to do some different things. How did you navigate through midi and attack and Coach McEwen needing you to kind of adjust a little bit outside of maybe an area that you were used to being in?
Yeah, it was definitely a little bit of a hard adjust. Like I said, we had a number of very good players down there at attack. So, just listening to the upperclassmen on like learning like little things like the clear and different spots to be in on offense, and then also like getting just trying to get my body better for being a midfielder my freshman and sophomore year. But yeah, those were the main things, and then just watching a ton of film to see what I could do better at the midfield, and then and yeah.
Yeah. So if you were asked to switch back to mid, what would you say you've gained the most in your toolbox to make you a good midi if you had to be there?
Definitely using both hands. I've always been a lefty, and definitely being a midfielder, I could definitely shoot with both hands now confidently. Yeah.
So we talk about your multi goal scoring games. You said you've had a bunch with 5, you've had one with 6. Now that you're on attack, are you in the back of your mind saying, I want 7? I want to just load it up here? What do you got?
Maybe a little bit.
Okay.
But yeah, as long as we win though, that's all. I'm just happy.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. And I asked that question because, it says a lot about a team if somebody's like, yeah, I want all my goals and I don't care. And you see players like that.
Yeah.
There's all-star caliber players that have really great stats, but their team doesn't win. What has this Binghamton team done to bring out the best in you? How have they taught you team over self? Not that you didn't have it before, but what is it about this team that really makes you take a step back and say, hey, yeah, I'd love to score, but the guy to my left or my right, I'm cool if he scores too. What is it about this team that is an actual family that doesn't just call itself a family?
Yeah, the culture in the locker room, how everyone like brings themselves. No one has a big ego. Everyone's just, we're all best friends, and on the field it really shows. Like making that extra pass is really what it means to us. And if someone does have 5 goals, everyone's happy for that guy. But like spreading the wealth is what we're really about.
Who gets under your skin the most? Like who on the team in practice, whether it's like trash talk or res or whatever, like if they're trying to get you to laugh, trying to get you to make a mistake, who's the one that you feel like, man, like sometimes they just get me and you just kind of shake your head?
I'm gonna have to go with our goalie Connor Winters. He makes some saves on me, and I'm like, damn it. He gives me a little chirp, and I'm like, yeah, you really got me there. Yeah, he's definitely on the top of the list.
Okay, fair enough. Is he the hardest goalie that you've ever had to shoot against, or do you feel like there's been other times in your career where you felt like somebody was right up to his caliber?
He's by far the best goal I've ever shot on in my life. He is there's some shots where I'm like, what in the world? How did he get to make that save?
So when he's out there and you're in practice and you're trying to get a good shot on Connor Winters, what's the best shot that you feel like you've ever gotten to get past him?
I'll have to go with like shooting around a defender or something like that. You just got to get lucky against the guy. Like literally, it's so insane. Like a straight up shot, he'll see it the whole way. It's either he's using his feet, his legs, his stick, his head, literally anything.
What's the best save that he's had against you?
My last year actually, we were doing just shots after practice, and I was coming across the middle, and he did like literally like a split, a full split. I would never be able to do that ever in my life, and he did a full split, and it went off his ankle, and I was like, good for you, Connor.
So if he's the guy that could just get at you, which makes sense that it's the goalie, who would you say is the toughest person to break? The person on the team this season with this roster that like is the hardest to get to laugh, the hardest to get to break that stone face. Like you're on the like today when you're on the bus, the person that's just like so locked in that you can't tell, like, are they sleeping with their eyes open? Who's that guy?
I'll probably have to go with Matt Rincon. He's usually always locked in.
Okay.
Great player, and yeah, he's usually always just locked in on the field and stuff.
Who's the funny guy? Who's the one that you're warming up? You're going to be warming up today at Lafayette, and they just come up behind you and they say something, and you immediately start laughing.
I got to shout out my boy Johnny Angelicola. He's got some funny jokes.
So you've picked the serious one, you've picked the funny one, and you've picked the one that just gets under your skin. Like, how does he make these saves? How would you describe your personality on this team? If I were to talk with your teammates right now and I said, who's Andrew on this squad? Who's Girolamo? What would they say?
They'd probably say I'm definitely I could definitely get serious when I'm trying to be a leader, when we're down a couple or whatnot. But then I'm also I could pull out some jokes. I could laugh on the sideline a little bit. So I'm two-sided, but
okay.
I could definitely pull it together though if we need to.
Fair enough. So you're on the bus today, right? And I feel like this doesn't get talked about enough. But when you're on a bus ride and you're going east in PA, and hopefully it doesn't feel that long, but sometimes buses run a little bit slower. Sometimes there's traffic. Sometimes there's weather, whatever it may be. So when you're on the bus for a few hours, How do you stay focused? How do you stay loose? You know, you don't want your calves to tighten up. You want your mind to be strong. You want to listen to the right type of music. You want to be eating food that's going to help you out. Like, what do you don't want to sit a certain way where you get a little kink in your neck. There's all these things that never get talked about when it comes to the travel side. So what are you going to be doing on the bus today to make sure that when you step off the bus, you don't have to kind of unravel yourself, so to speak?
Yeah, just we got some games that we play in the bus here and there. Just talking with the fellas, and then put in the earphones, listening to music is always a good way. And then every now and then I'll get up, shake out the legs, and text my friends from back home a little bit. Just keep the mind loose.
So the games you play on the bus, give me some of those games.
So we have this new game. It's called Imposter, and it's like a game where it's on your phone. You choose your name, and it says if you're an imposter or not. And there's like a category. It gives you the word, and if you're an imposter, you don't see the word, but you have to guess it off of what other people are saying. And yeah, that's the one. That's the game we got going right now. It's pretty fun.
Who's the best imposter on the team?
Mason Shank.
Okay.
Yeah. Mason Shank. He's a very smart kid, so he pulls out some crazy words sometimes.
All right. Fair enough. In this edition, once again in the Bearcat Breakroom, Andrew Girolamo here with me on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Before we get to rapid fire, we've spoken a little bit about the season and a little bit about your history going all the way back to pre-K. Over these last couple of years going into this season, you said that you had to learn to be more vocal. What else about your game, Andrew, did you realize I got to do something different here, or I got to elevate this? What's a thing or two that you were in the off season honing to say, when they see me on the field this year, this is going to look a little bit different, or it's going to be, ticked up a couple notches? What are some of those things?
Definitely my passing. I've definitely taken a lot of pride in my passing over this off season and whatnot, because I feel like I will be getting doubled a little bit here and there with this season. And yeah, my passing, and then also a little bit my speed. I definitely worked on my speed here and there a little bit. Those are the two main things, yeah.
So your passing and your speed. Let's jump into rapid fire. We can ask each other literally anything, and it can be any topic, any question. We got to answer it. We're going to do 3 apiece. You get to ask me the first one. What do you got?
Do you play any video games?
It's been a minute, but I'm a nostalgic guy. So I'm Super Mario. I'm original Mario. I was good at Sonic the Hedgehog for sure, because I had Sega when I was a kid. I didn't have Nintendo. I got it later. So I'd probably say those for back in the day. I'd like to think I can hold my own in Madden, but okay. I'm also all right at FIFA. I got some good I think I've been all right when it comes to the soccer world. So I'll say that. I mean, typically I'm playing sports games. I'm not good. Well, I mean, this might be also because my roommates in college played this game a million times a day, and I played it like 3 times my entire time in college, but I was not good at Halo. And so I wanted to get better at it, but I didn't play as much as they did. But if I was going to play right now, I really am looking at getting a PlayStation, so that, because my favorite character is Spider-Man, and Sony is only on PlayStation, and Sony has the rights to Spider-Man. So I think I would like to try and see how I do at that, and then maybe getting back into Madden a little bit.
Yeah, that's my main game right now. Madden, NHL, and MLB are my big 3.
So this is not my question, but I want to know, going off of your question, which team are you typically in Madden?
I'm gonna get a lot of crap for this, but the Kansas City Chiefs, that's been my team since I was in 4th grade.
Okay, so before they were good, let's say.
Yes.
So
Jamal Charles, Alex Smith days.
Okay. Fair enough. If you were a fan back then there's no bandwagon that was jumped back then. My question for you, if you could have dinner with any three Kansas City Chiefs, who would they be and why?
I'm gonna go with Patrick Mahomes,
Okay.
obviously because he's gonna be the GOAT. I'll have to go Jamal Charles. He's one of my favorite running backs ever.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna go with I'm not gonna say Travis Kelce, but I'm gonna go with Tyreek Hill when he used to be on the Chiefs. Just his speed is absolutely insane, and I feel like I would definitely want to pick his brain about that speed.
Yeah. Well, you said your speed went up, so we'll see what that looks like this season. What's your next question for me?
Let's see. What are your hobbies in the summertime? Do you like what do you do outside of this?
I can hold my own in the world of putt-putt. I'm a dangerous putt-putt player. But no, I mean, I've started to golf more. I love to travel. So you'll catch me down. The second hub of my company and the second home for me personally is Florida. So you'll probably see me down in Florida a few times. So I would say traveling, going out, just trying to do activities, sitting in the sun. I love to swim. I'm definitely a swimmer through and through. I was in a pool when I was, diaper, a few months old. So I definitely would say, give me water, give me sun, and I'm a basketball player, been throughout my life. So I'd say, give me a court. I'll go out and shoot for a little bit, get hot, jump in the pool, get a tan, have a good time. That's what I would say.
That's definitely an ideal summer day right there.
Yeah, it is for sure. And my grandma made those days really easy and consistent. Now my mom does. So shout out to my family for that.
Awesome.
My question back to you, as I'm sitting in the studio hungry right now, I will ask you if you could make a meal and it's going to be called the Girolamo, what restaurant would have your signature dish and what would be on it?
My signature dish. The restaurant that would have it would be. I'll go with. I'll go with Copper. I'll go with Copper Top around here in Binghamton.
Okay.
And one of my favorite dishes is a beef stroganoff dish.
Beef stroganoff. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I respect it. If somebody makes the sauce correctly, that's a really good dish, and it's usually the noodles to everything about it's good if you make it right.
Got to have those egg noodles.
Yeah.
And I like to say I make the sauce pretty good. So.
Okay, so you're making it at home.
Yeah. I've made it here many times. Yeah.
Do you hold up with Copper Top? Do you think you've been able to get to that level?
I don't know. Maybe they got some good pasta dishes over there, so I think their chef's probably gonna beat me out on that. But
that's one that nobody's ever told me before when we've talked about food. So I respect that. I respect that you have a different dish, a dish I know, but one you don't hear a lot in a totally different sauce than what we typically talk about. So
yeah.
I think you should do a little team dinner. Text me the day before. And I might have to sneak down and just tell Coach McEwen, like, hey, I got to try this because I got to see where it stacks up. I'll be able to tell you because I've had it. I think somebody in the family's made it before.
Yeah, for sure.
What's your last question for me?
I'm curious. What sports did you? I know you said basketball, but did you play any other sports other than basketball growing up?
I played a little bit of baseball. I didn't bowl on like a team just kind of for fun, but I did it more often when I was growing up. But like two-hand touch or flag football, two-hand touch when we were growing up, I would like to say I could hold my own out there on the football field.
Okay.
But yeah, baseball, a lot of basketball, and yeah, most of it was basketball.
Nice.
My question back to you, my final question for you. All right. We're going to go on a road trip. Cross country. one of your teammates, and you can't name anybody you've already named. So you got 3 teammates with you. One of them's going to drive across country that you trust to drive the car. One of them is going to be the one that changes your flat tire. And one of them is going to be the one that talks the whole car out of a speeding ticket. Give me those 3 people.
All right. So changing the flat tire, I'm definitely going Wyatt Walters.
Okay.
And then talking the whole ride about a speeding ticket, you said?
Somebody who can get you out of a speeding ticket.
Oh, get me out of a speeding ticket. Okay. I'm gonna have to go with Will Feldman on that one.
Okay.
Yeah, he could definitely talk. And then driving, I'm gonna have to go with Gavin Jacobson. He's got a nice Jeep truck that he always drives around, so I could definitely trust him to drive across the country.
Fair enough. Well, there you go with Andrew Girolamo here on Wake Up Call. Inside of this edition of the Bearcat Breakroom and our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Binghamton University on the day that the Binghamton Men's Lacrosse 2026 season begins. My best to you and the squad on the road to Lafayette and then back home for 5 of 6 for the next month. So hope the best for you today. Hope you guys have a great positive note to start off the season, and I look forward to seeing you.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate you. And now a message from Myers Creek Brewing Company, with locations at their Cazenovia Farm Brewery, Syracuse Inner Harbor Tap Room, and soon-to-be Lake Placid Tap Room.
Well, I think first and foremost, the Feldmeyer family and our team are extremely passionate about what we do. We care very much about what we do. The Feldmeyer family is always investing. Our taproom management team, our brew management team, our marketing management team, and all of the team members that get after it every day, they leave it on the field. They put their heart and soul into it. I know for a fact that everyone that works at Myers Creek wants to be there, and we want them to be there. You know, we want them to feel good about their job. And again, if you've never been to a Myers Creek, especially to the brewery, I mean, I want your eyes to open really big. I want you to see how big of a brand this is. I want you to see where we're going. The sky is the limit, and I feel very proud of that, and I'm very excited about that. When you think of designing a menu for a brewery, it's kind of open to a lot of different interpretations. I mean, you can do American, you can do Asian, you can do Italian, and you just have to find, you know, how that meets that pub style dining experience, that gastropub vibe. And I think it's super fun for us because obviously we know that, you know, everyone in the world's going to sell a pizza or a burger or a french fry, but what can we do to be different? And what can we do to be true to who we are? We are a brewery, you know, a brew pub. So the flavor profiles are kind of all over the place. And I think it's super cool that we have a massive smoker at the brewery in Cazenovia, and we smoke a lot of our products. We have a delicious smoked turkey. We have barbecue ribs on Sundays. From a pulled pork sandwich to a chicken wing, you go to the Inner Harbor and you go to the Caz location and you'll find similarities in the menu, but also things that are a little different and also kind of fit those different demographics or different communities, and also hopefully just drive you to try every tap room that we have open at some point because you get a little something different at each one. You know, we understand how hard it is to, you know, work every day and get after it every day, and when you're done at the end of your day, you want to go out and put your feet up in a good ambiance and good environment. So we take pride in that. We make sure that everyone knows that they're very much valued to us.
This is Jim Dispenza, owner of Game Point Sports Complex. You hear the same story across any sport that kids play and any sport that adults play. There's never enough places to play. That was definitely true with volleyball, definitely true with basketball. Could be cheerleading, it could be field hockey, which is what we're seeing now. Every sport has a lack of places to play, and I think Syracuse in particular is a place where it's really bad. Despite the fact that we've got a lot of athletic talent around here, We just seem to have not enough places for people to play, and they're going to different places. They're going to Rochester, they're going to, Buffalo. They're going all different places because we don't have a place here, and I felt like that should change. This was a long project from planning all the way through execution to opening doors. A lot of work went into it, obviously, a lot of money, a lot of resources, and the dream always was kids being in the gym, having a good time. And I've always felt like sports is the most unfiltered joy that you can observe with people, that people can experience, because it is fun, it is a sense of accomplishment, it's all of that wrapped into one thing. And so watching kids going up and down the court with big smiles on their faces has been just amazing experience. I'm looking forward to years to come of that same thing. We've taken the time to invest in multiple sports, and then what we're finding is the mere fact that we have a large, clean, well-lit space has opened a lot more doors for us beyond basketball, volleyball, pickleball. Now we're having some interest from cheerleading. We've got girls field hockey coming in, and then also there's quite a bit of room for spectators. We've got bleachers, we've got benches, we've got a concession lounge where people can get food and drinks. We're going to have multiple sports going at the same time, using every square inch of this place for what it was conceived for, which is basically people to come in, have a good time in the sport that they prefer. We manage each situation differently. Everybody has different ability to afford different things. Some are bringing 10, 15 people, some are just 2 people. I've had a lot of situations where it's a father shooting around with his son, it's a mother playing pickleball with her daughter or with her son, and in those situations come up and we work with people, and that's allowed us to have groups from 2 people up to 30 people and have some flexible pricing behind it. We're an organization that is here to work with the community any way we can, and I guess part of it is just making sure that we have the flexibility to put together a plan that makes sense regardless of the size of your group. So in order to book time, the best option is to go to our website, gamepointsports-syr.com. You can click from there and sign up for events, sign up for your own particular training, sign up for birthday parties, all of that.
Avicolli's restaurant, located on 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York, has been serving our community for decades. Your place to go for home cooking on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road is just minutes from Liverpool High School. And every single month, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is on site, on location, with Liverpool sports, student athletes, coaches, and administration telling their stories throughout the year. We look forward to seeing you on site at Avicolli's for their casual pizza side, their fine dining, as well as their bar. And of course, you can order online at myavicollis.com. That's myAvicollis.com. For takeout, delivery, and catering, call 315-622-5100. That's 315-622-5100. Come on into the neighborhood spot Avicolli's, open 7 days a week in Liverpool, New York. K9 Campground Dog Boarding is your home away from home for your furry-loving friends. Open 7 days a week with drop-off and pickup times in the morning and later on in the day and early evening. K9 Campground Dog Boarding is the spot to trust with your dog for short and long-term stays. Call 315-299-4013 for more information. That's 315-299-4013, and go to k9campground.com as well. That's KAMP ground.com, where you will find all of the information on their different cabins, which include the classic cabin, executive cabin, grand cabin, and luxury cabin. K9 Campground Dog Boarding, where your dog will have indoor and outdoor areas as well as their own private cabin for any size, any breed, as well as dogs with different needs. Dog parents and dogs alike choose K9 Campground Dog Boarding. Isn't that right, Lily? Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
And welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. I appreciate you being here inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, who you just heard from here on Wake Up Call. We're up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe. And we are here with you Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. So however you're connected with the show, thank you for being with us. As we always round out a Tuesday show with, it's time for the Ingredients to Success. The Ingredients to Success are proudly presented by the wonderful team at Avicolli's. And at Avicolli's, they are open 7 days a week, and I appreciate Avicolli so much, so make sure you get out there today. I value and appreciate this segment, the opportunity that we have to bring you the Ingredients to Success. It's a segment I created years ago, and I'm so happy that we get to do this with Avicolli's and that we get to share this with you. So with that being said, it is time for us to unveil the new topic today of the Ingredients to Success. And as we're here on Wake Up Call inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, today's topic for the Ingredients to Success, proudly presented by Avicolli's, Heart on Fire. Heart on Fire. What does that mean? It gives me chills. It gives me chills when I say that. Heart on fire. To not just have a heart that believes in something, but to have a heart that is burning with the passion of that thing. I ask you today, what are you passionate about? What sets your heart ablaze? What's that thing or things that you just feel so deeply for that you just feel like your heart's on fire? See, because without passion and dedication and commitment, what are we? Without something that we fight for, we yearn for, we care about, Where is our energy going? Why is your heart on fire today? Or is it not? See, if you don't have that passion, that drive, that feeling, that Holy Spirit ordained just thing in your life, then what are you doing? If your heart's not on fire for something, what is the essence of your life? See, and I tell people this all the time, you can believe whatever you want to believe. You can believe whatever you want to believe. You have free will. God gave that to you. I didn't give it to you. You didn't give it to you. God gave you free will. And if you want to believe the God that gave you the free will to love him or not doesn't exist, it seems kind of crazy. Let me paint a few pictures here. God is all-knowing, all-powerful, omnipresent, omnipotent. It's just him, right? He's at the top. There's only one God, in my belief. If you don't believe he exists, think about this for a second. He has all the power in the world. He could snap his fingers, you love him. He could snap his fingers, you're going to do this like a robot. He could snap his fingers, you're going to say this. He can snap his fingers, you're going to change. He can make you his minion. He chose not to. Okay? What other leader in the history of anything that had the power to didn't use it? Right? Think about that. He has the power to force, but he didn't. Right? Think about the people that had the power to force, but they didn't. Who are they fighting for? I think about Abraham Lincoln right away. So God has, and I'm not saying Abraham Lincoln was God, I'm saying he emulated that. I have the power to force, but I'm not. I could tell the whole country you're going to do this, but when the country didn't listen, I got to make a decision. Right? God could have made us love him, but he doesn't. And to me, why create something that you love and it doesn't have to love you back? Belief. They say, have faith in God. Faith goes two ways. God has faith in you. He has faith in you. Or else what's the point of free will? He has faith you'll do the right thing. He has faith you'll come back to him. He has faith you'll stay with him. Like I said, you could believe whatever you want to believe, but my heart is on fire for God. And I don't care what anybody thinks about that. I'm not here for your opinion. Well, Dan, you're a broadcaster. You give your opinion. Yeah, I do. But look at how I talk to people. Right? Good times, bad times, wins and losses. Look at how I address people. Alan Griffin's on a team that's struggling. Mike Wheeler's on a team where they're doing well. Did I not talk to those gentlemen the same way? Ask them to be honest, candid, open, kind, share? It wasn't like, oh, you're this or this, and you're this or that. No. You want to know the key to living a fruitful life of relationship over transaction? Show people they can trust you when things are great, and show them they can trust you when things are tough. Everybody's going to be there when it's great. If your team is undefeated, everyone's going to show up. But when they're not, when they're losing, a team that goes 22-0, if the next season they go 9-13, a lot of people don't show up. Goes from 20 media people to 3, maybe. I'm never going to be that person. I'll never forget a coach said to me, she said, Dan, when we're doing well and people want to do an interview, I'm not going to turn it down. It's free advertising for her, right? Free advertising for the program. She said, when everybody shows up, I'm not going to turn it down. But you were the only person that was here before we started doing good, before all this stuff started happening. You were here. And because of that, you have my cell phone number. And because of that, you can come in my office and you can sit on my couch whenever you want and you can talk to me. Because, yeah, I'm not going to turn away when they all show up, but you were here when nobody was. So she didn't forget, hey, we're doing well and all the media is here. And yeah, I'm going to talk to these 22 people, but I'm going to always make time for this one person because he was there when nobody called me, when nobody wanted me on their show. And I respect that. It's about building relationships. Everybody shows up when it's going good. Even the haters show up when it's going good. And sometimes you can't tell the difference. Right? Because some people put on a really good show. But if I could tell you anything of many years of speaking for a living and my entire career being on building relationships and networking and having those doors that are open take me to places that allow me the opportunity to see more of this world and to reach more people and do more things, you can't get far if you are positive in the good and negative in the bad. You can't. Doesn't mean you don't ask the tough questions. Doesn't mean you don't have the tough conversations and the candidness and the real. You saw that today on the show. It means you can't fake real. And nobody wants to talk to somebody they can't trust. And I think a lot of people in my line of work don't get that people know who they can and can't trust. And yeah, sometimes they make mistakes, but a lot of times they figure it out real quick or eventually, but you know. And if I can't trust you, I'm not going to hate you, but I'm not going to mess with you. I'm not going to spend my time if I don't have to. Our interactions are going to be quick because I don't even trust that if you say hi and I say, hi, how are you? That you're going to tell people that's what I said. You'd be like, I said, hi, Dan punched me in the face. People I don't trust them with the smallest amount of information. Hi, hello, how was your day? I don't trust them with any of that. It's like, maybe if I don't say anything and I just wave, you know what I mean? When you're living this life, and like I said, I accept all of you that are watching and listening for whatever you are. I don't care who you voted for. You live your life the way you want to live your life. You do the things that you want to do. I believe there's a God we're going to have to answer to at the end of our lives. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But I'm never going to stop being me. I don't want you to not be you. And I always tell people that. I should never have to preface on my show, this is who I am and this is how I live. Because there's people that live in a very disrespectful and wild, chaotic way, and I don't see any disclaimer from them. It's like, I'm going to walk in a room, wreak havoc, and I'm not going to apologize. Those people have no disclaimer. I, out of respect for everybody in this wild world where everybody needs a Surgeon General's warning, I tell people, hey, just so you know, I've said 5 billion times on my show, but in case you didn't hear me, I accept everyone. You're all a child of God. If you agree with me, I accept you. If you don't agree with me, I accept you. If you hate on me, I pray for you. If you love on me, I pray for you. I'm not here to give back what you give me to emulate you. I'm here to emulate God. And God did not hate, and God did not discriminate, and God did not say, oh, you pissed me off, screw you. Because in that case, we'd all be in hell. There's not a single one of us. If we crossed God and did the wrong thing and we sinned and we didn't get to heaven on the first offense, we'd all be in hell. But see, my heart's on fire, and I have to talk about that. because I'm called to do that. I'm not called as a Christian, as a Catholic, as someone who believes in God. I'm not called to keep my mouth shut. I'm not called to hide and not celebrate God. I'm not here without God. I would have given up on myself, given up on my life, given up on a lot of things. There are people that cross paths with me and things that happen in my life that could have easily made me give up. Without a faith, without a God, without someone to pray to that I know heard me and I know held my hand and was there and put his arm around me and sang to me and spoke to me and sat with me and cried with me and laughed with me. I am an everyday living example that God exists because my entire life cannot be proven that anything got to where it is today if there was not a being far greater than me that was directing my path and keeping me going. I could not sustain my life on my own. I did not have the strength in certain situations to move forward without God. My heart, my mind could not take life if not for the fact that he helped to carry the burden sometimes, all the time. I shouldn't even say so. I don't mean sometimes. I'm saying like I did the best I could, but I can't do it alone. And I think anybody that you cross paths with that believes in God, when you hear their testimony, it's not my life was easy and that's why I believe. It was when I could not get out of a black hole, I somehow woke up out of the black hole, and I know I didn't take myself out because I have strength, I have belief, I have that, but I didn't have all, like, I can go right back to a moment in my life, kneeling down on the ground in my bedroom in the house I grew up in, with my cross on my left over my shoulder and me praying to God and feeling like I'm in a black hole that has all these smooth surfaces that I was in a bowl and I couldn't get out. There was nothing to hold on to. There was no way to get out of this thing, and it seemed to only be getting deeper and deeper and darker and darker. And then slowly but surely, somehow, some way, over time, he just helped me, and even when I didn't think he was helping me, he was getting me up the side of this black hole. He was getting me through this black hole, getting me closer to exiting it. When I thought I was going farther in, he was taking me out. And then one day I was out. My heart's on fire for God. And if you don't like that, nobody asked you. I'd rather die loving God than live pretending he doesn't exist. I'd rather die. Because at least I know in death I told the truth. Living a lie is awful. It's sick, and it eats away at you. You know, I go back to the story of there was a girl at Columbine, and that tragic event that happened in the school, and you know, I pray for the souls of everybody involved, the perpetrators and the victims, because I don't want any soul going to hell, and I don't want any soul being unforgiven. Devil doesn't need anybody's help, and I don't want to give him any help, even though I know that God's already won the war. I go back to that Columbine thing, and there's something that never, ever has never left me. And they said that, now I wasn't there, but they said, obviously, but they said that there was, I don't know if she was in a cafeteria or where she was, but she was hiding under a desk, and one of the shooters came in and went up to this young girl and held a gun to her head and said, "Do you believe in God?" And she said, "Yes." And he shot her in the head and killed her. And people think like, man, I would say whatever the shooter wanted me to say so I can preserve my life. You're thinking about your life here. You're not thinking about your life after. You'll preserve your life here, maybe. I mean, you're trying to negotiate with a person that has a gun that is obviously not stable. So even if you give them the right answer, that doesn't mean you're going to stay alive. Or whatever you perceive the right answer to be. I can't imagine if I was in that moment and I said, no, I don't believe in God. And then he spared my life. And then I had to live the rest of my life like not wanting to look up at the light because I chose myself over God. You know, I dated this girl one time and she asked me to choose her or God. And I didn't want to lose her. And I was in this like emotional storm of chaos. And I was like, I know that God is my number one. I know that. But how do I keep her and him? So I told her, I lied. I said, all right, I choose you. I got off the phone. I was sick. I was in my kitchen that I grew up in, knelt down on the hardwood floor. The stove was next to me. And I cried and I begged God to forgive me. I told him I didn't mean it. I told him that it was obviously him, that I don't know why I said it, that I shouldn't have said it. And I just remember being in that moment, calling her back and being like, I didn't choose, like, I choose God. Like, I had to tell him, I choose you, and she had to know, I don't choose you over him. And then that's the day that I realized, I was like, if someone says, choose me or God, by choosing God, you also choose them. Because God created all of us. So if you choose someone, you don't necessarily choose God. But if you choose God, then not that you have to choose to be with that person, but God created that person. Like, that person doesn't exist without God, but God exists without that person. And I just remember in that moment, like, sitting there feeling like somebody put me on the spot and I chose what I perceived to be my happiness and my future over the one who gave me life. And then I was like feeling ripped from the inside out. And I was like, no, like, God, I will do anything in my power to ask for forgiveness, be righted of this, and rid of what I just said, because I didn't mean it. And I'll never mean it. I don't think people that believe in God have to hide, and I don't think they should. And, you know, we live in a world where it's so weird now that we're living in a country where the same people that say, you can't tell me how to think, what to do, what to say, how to dress, how to live, are telling people what to do, what to say, how to live, how to dress. Like, it's this whole, like, I want freedom, but I get to decide if you have it. I want you to treat me this way, but I get to decide if I treat you this way. Like, hypocrisy is such a rampant sin in today's culture of this, like, I love you unless you voted for the person I don't like. I love you unless you believe in God. I love you unless you don't like this or you don't support this. Like, you have to do everything that I do or I hate you. You have to live exactly how I live or I hate you. You have to accept my crazy behavior as normal or I hate you. And I scream and I cry and to me, I don't have any time for that. Like, I'm not involving myself in that world. I will pray for you and I will attempt to reach you. But I don't know. I mean, we've had over 5,000 guests on the show. The majority of them, I have no idea who they voted for, what their religion is. I have no idea. Because to me, I'm here to build relationships and to show God in how I live my life. And can I do better? 1,000,000 infinity%. I can be a living, breathing example in such a better way. And I challenge myself. I was thinking about a segment for today, and I thought, like, man, my heart is on fire to spread God to other people, to let you feel, I mean, not to let you feel, but to, like, I want you to know him. I don't know how you live without it. You can't take money to hell. You can't, when you're done, you can't take the money. You can't take the stuff. You can't take the Twitter followers and the TikTok reels. And you can't take any of this stuff when you die. Like, the stuff we care about in today's society does not exist in death. None of it. You think Michael Jackson cares how many people listen to his music after his life? There are people that hate Michael Jackson that never knew Michael Jackson, that talk poorly of him and speak about his life as if they sat there living it with him. There's people that have defamed, slandered, libeled, discredited, disrespected, and slaughtered his name that never met him, weren't even alive when he died. Like, we're living in this really, really weird society, man. And we're living in this really, really, really weird society where people act like they know, but they don't. You don't know. 99.9% of you have no idea what happened with Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston. So stop talking about it. 99.9% of you don't know if Angelina Jolie came in and wrecked a home or they just, whatever. Like, you don't know. We talk about all this stuff. We don't know. I'm inside Adrian Autry's mind. No, you're not. Would you shrink yourself, get on the magic school bus and go in his brain through his ear? Like, what are you talking about? We don't know most of the crap that we spew and talk about like we're experts. You're not an expert. You're not even like an intermediary. You're not even like a beginner in that subject, but you talk about it. Like, why? Instead of spending your whole life speculating and accusing and doing all this stuff, like, put your heart on fire. Like, my heart is on fire to bring the Holy Spirit to people. My heart is on fire to teach you about God. Not to force you into it, not to push you into it, not to berate you into it, but how I don't even have to say the word God, but it's how I treat you, how I am. When I hold the door open for you, I want you to know about God. When I ask you how your day is going and I mean it and I look you in the eye, I'm asking you about God. When I hug you and I hold on a little bit tighter, because I know you've been through it, I'm trying to show you about God. I don't have to say it. Somebody told me a long time ago, they said, we know that you believe in God, not because you force it or anything you say. They're like, you don't even have to say anything. They said, those of us that know you, there's just a certain way that you carry yourself and how you are, that you just know that you believe in God, and it doesn't even have to be said. It doesn't have to be stated. And that was a wonderful compliment, and I don't think I deserve it most of the time. But when you look at life, like, it's not about getting in your face and screaming. It's about showing people. When you show remorse, that's God. When you ask for forgiveness, that's God. When you forgive other people, when you love, when you try, when you get back up again, when you don't give up, when you chase your dreams, when you respond positively to adversity, when you help your kids, when you help a stranger, when you help your parents, when you pay for lunch, when you give somebody a parking spot, when you make a phone call, when you shoot a text message, when you're the first person to do something instead of waiting for somebody, when you don't play games, you're showing people God. All the time. And my heart is on fire to do that. I can't sit here anymore and beat around the bush. I love God. There's a lot of things in society in America right now that I think are crazy, that I don't understand, that I don't agree with, but I don't hate anybody that's different than me. I go, okay, that's your choice. Here's my choice. Do not come in here screaming in my face, and I know I'm not screaming in your face. All I'm going to tell you is, at the end of your life, are these choices going to be the choices that get you to heaven? Well, I don't believe in heaven, Dan, so it doesn't matter. Well, you don't have to believe in heaven for heaven to believe in you. If you don't believe in God and you don't believe in consequence and you do whatever you want because you don't care, because at the end of our lives, nothing's going to happen, what if you're wrong? And let's play devil's advocate. What if I'm wrong? What if there is no God? Does living my life in tribute to him and doing good and helping others and being the bigger person and biting my tongue and opening the door for someone who would slam it in my face, is that going to do me any disservice? If being a good person in the middle of chaos, in loving in the middle of hate, in trying in the middle of people that give up, in doing my best when other people would have just thrown in the towel, is any of that going to be a bad thing at the end of my life that I decided to give my absolute all? No. Like, if I'm wrong and God doesn't exist and I've lived my whole life honoring him and giving and trying and no matter what, praying and loving and hoping and believing and having faith and striving and being positive and constantly teaching myself and learning and growing and checking myself when I'm wrong and being willing to change and do better and never be stuck in my ways, is any of that going to hurt me? If God doesn't exist and I die and nothing happens, if trying my best to do my best, to give my all, and at the end of it, there is no God to say, welcome home, did I not still spend my life making a positive impact and difference on the world? I can't imagine living in a world where I'm like, I'm going to do whatever the hell I want to do because there's no God. So you're going to rape, pillage, kill? Like, what are you going to do? You could do anything. And you got no remorse. I don't want to be around those people. I'll pray for them, but I don't want to be around those people. I don't put myself in I don't get around people that say, believe me or don't. Or if you believe in what I believe in, I love you. If you don't believe in what I believe in, I hope you die. And there are people like that now. That's how they act. They might not mean it, but that's how they act. It's like, if you're with me, great. If you're not, I hate you. I hate you. I hate your kids. I hate your dog. I hate your cat. Like, stop. So if there's hate out here running rampant, screaming and crying and whatever, then I'm going to keep my heart on fire and I'm going to keep preaching about God and I'm going to keep talking about the good word and I'm going to keep putting that into my life and what I'm about. There's no such thing in my life as coincidences. There is no way in heck that my life has accidentally worked out amazing 5 billion times. There's no way. There is no way that this is all me, no God, no higher power. There is absolutely, positively no. It would be crazier for me to think that I stumbled upon everything in my life than to think that somebody guided me to it. God is my structure. God is my strength. God is my refuge. God is the reason why I will never turn into things that I don't like seeing in the media. God is the reason why I will stay good when bad looks like it's prospering. God is the reason why I will keep morals and values when people cutting corners are making more money and are reaching more people than I am. Because if I don't do it right, I ain't doing it. So I hope that your heart is on fire. I hope that hearing this today inspired the Holy Spirit in you to fly free. I hope you pray for the first time ever. I hope you pray if you haven't prayed in a while. I hope you pray if you pray it every day. But I hope at some point in your life you get down on your knees and you pray to the one true and only God, not because you need something, but because you just want to make sure that you recognize that he is here. You recognize that he gave you a chance. You recognize that he has ordainedly planned your life and he has given you promise and goodness and faith and hope and love. And you do not have to apologize for loving God. I think it is wild in society that the people that don't want to apologize for anything are asking other people to apologize for everything. I believe in God. God is the essence of everything I have. He is the only constant reason why I get up in the morning. Yes, I love my dog. Yes, I love my parents. Yes, I love what I do. But when I feel like I can't move, when I feel like my chest is sunken, my eyes are tired, my body is weak, he lifts me up out of my bed and says, we gonna do it. And then 2 minutes later, I'm running around. I climbed a mountain to the Stations of the Cross. And I stopped multiple times. And I said, Jesus, how did you make it? Give me the strength to go on. And every time I asked for it, I had a burst of energy for a second, for 10 minutes, for, 40 steps, 20 steps, 10 steps, 1 step. He got me up the mountain. I didn't train to get up that mountain. I didn't have any intent of climbing a mountain that day. I didn't know the Stations of the Cross were there. I didn't know that was there. Everything about that day was, I am bringing you where I need you. I am going to give you this experience, and you are not, you don't know it. You have no preparation for it. But do you trust me? I climbed a mountain in honor of God. And when I got to the top, he sent me a message that had to do with years of my life on the other side of the world. And it all made sense in a place I never thought I would be, on the top of a mountain I never thought I would climb, in a way that I never thought I would do it, at a time in my life that I needed it so much. If you do not believe in God, you have the free will to make that choice. But my fire in my heart burns brighter when you tell me to shut up. Not when you tell me to go. Keep going. My heart burns, yearns, thrives on loving God. And I will never apologize for that. So if you feel in your chest, don't quiet it. Don't shut it up. Spread your wings and fly. Like a phoenix rising out of the ashes. Let your spirit drive you. Because the flesh, if that drives you, you don't want to go down that road. I love you all. And God loves you too. And if nobody told you that, I'm telling you. I love you all. And God loves you too. We'll take our final step aside and we'll be back on Wake Up Call right after this.
Here's a message from Renee from Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York. Open Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and Sundays for brunch.
It's a lot like the way that my mom and dad ran their restaurant. We have put in place a lot of people that are family to us, very similar to how my dad hired people that were family to him. And then the tradition I'm carrying on is a lot of the items that are on our menu are my dad's. And he taught our chefs how to recreate his dishes. So I think that Tommy McInerney, who our executive chef is, to him it is an art. And I think that when he does create a dish, it's not just about making the food taste delicious, what is definitely our priority, but it's an art to him, and it's almost like his canvas on a plate where He just wants the colors to look great, and people love it because he takes pride in that. And Brian and I appreciate that. We want it to obviously look good and taste good. I will tell you, when we opened up, it was 6 weeks before COVID. And what was amazing was the community, our friends and family stepped up, and everybody did takeout. Everybody supported us. Our hearts were just so filled. So to Brian and I, obviously our friends come all the time, and we just have repeat customers in Jamesville, and I think people going to our previous restaurant in Green Lakes are making the trip to come to Brian's Landing to support us. And I mean, I think we have great food and a great atmosphere. So it's very, very important to us.
Head to Brian's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York, where memories have become recipes that are now meals to share with you. Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and on Sundays for brunch. And be sure to come out for live music Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Life gets busy, and sometimes that means us running around. So Canine Camp Dog Daycare offers you an opportunity to give your dog a place to stay while you take care of what you need to throughout the day. Canine Camp Dog Daycare is located on 228 Old Bridge Street in East Syracuse, New York. You can see it from the highway, and it's just off of Erie Boulevard across from BJ's Wholesale Club. Call 315-437-7110. That's 315-437-7110 to schedule an appointment to bring your dog in and tour the facility. Appointments are Monday through Thursday after 6:30, where you and your dog can see everything that Canine Camp Dog Daycare has to offer, including a self-serve dog wash and a retail store filled with all of your dog's wants and needs, including food, treats, harnesses, leashes, and more, making Canine Camp Dog Daycare your one-stop shop for your furry-loving friend. Right, Lily? In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you. Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks comes to you on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. They are open to you Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 6, Sundays from 10 to 5, featuring singles, packs, boxes, graded cards, and more, including all the supplies you need to protect your cards. They have Disney, Lorcana, Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon, and, of course, hockey, soccer, basketball, baseball, NASCAR, wrestling, football. You never know what you're going to find at GG Cards and Breaks, and it's only there while supplies last. So your job is to get in there right now. Lunch is coming up. So go on your lunch break over to GG Cards and Breaks on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. Big time thanks to Chick-fil-A in DeWitt on the corner of Bridge Street and Erie Boulevard. You'll find them right there in their giant brick building led by Megan Sorber and her team. The double drive-through is waiting for you today, and you will find your favorites, whether you're a fan of the original, the spicy, the grilled, the mac and cheese, anything. I mean, the milkshakes, of course, the peppermint chip shake during the Christmas season, and of course, all the time, that absolutely amazing cookies and cream one. You will find so many wonderful things at Chick-fil-A, and you'll find great service and a team that cares. This world needs good, quality, consistent guest service, and Chick-fil-A is all about that. Go and see Megan Sorber and her team on the corner of Bridge Street and Erie Boulevard in DeWitt today. With that being said, here on the show, I want to thank you for tuning in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, and on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com from inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. We appreciate you being here. Once we go live, we jump into the archive on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, and YouTube. All you have to do to find us is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora or one word Wake Up Call DT on any one of these outlets, and we're looking forward to seeing you today. Big time thanks to our incredible partners here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, Great Lakes Honda City, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, GG Cards and Breaks, Myers Creek, Bryan's Landing, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Ma and Pa's, the snack capital of the world, Chick-fil-A in Cicero, Game Point Sports Complex, Chick-fil-A in DeWitt, Mother's Cupboard, Pizza Man, as well as Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Avicolli's, and we are the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Onondaga Community College Lasers. The Laser Lounge comes to you on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora with student athletes, coaches, and administration. Find our content by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, find the OCC playlist, and of course, for more information, go to onondagalazers.com. Go Lasers. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Binghamton Bearcats. Binghamton University coming to you every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time with student athletes, coaches, administration, and alumni, including today celebrating the story, the journey of Andrew Girolamo of Binghamton Bearcats men's lacrosse, and doing it on the day that they usher in the 2026 season. That's right, Binghamton's special men's lacrosse spotlight today in the Bearcat Breakroom on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is leading you right into the 2026 season that's happening in just a few hours on the road at Lafayette. So safe travels to the gentlemen, and may they have a great time out there. You'll find all of our content by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell. Find the Binghamton playlist. The Bearcats are also on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab for more information. Go to binghamtonbearcats.com and go Bearcats. With that being said, big time thanks to Alan Griffin, to Mike Wheeler, and congratulations on win number 600. Big thanks to Andrew Girolamo, and of course to Avicolli's for the ingredients to success. I will talk with you soon. I will see you at Avicolli's tonight at 5:30 p.m. with an all-new spotlight that we've never done before, making history. 2 new athletic trainers were hired to Liverpool High School, and they're not only going to be with me today, but they're bringing student athletes that have benefited from their training and helping them get back out there to the sports that they love. So we got a great show going on tonight, and that will be February 10th right here in the community at 5:30 p.m. at Avicolli's on 7839 Oswego Road, Liverpool, New York, right down the street from Liverpool High School. We will see you there tonight. And in the meantime, Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, X at Call DT, Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT. I hope you all have a beautiful, wonderful day. And as we always say here on Wake Up Call, God bless, no stress. Do your best. We'll talk soon. Be well. God's got you.